if you love low-budget horror films, they usually make excuses sometimes. That the people that are making them are passionate, that they may not know all of the technical things or the storytelling things, but at least you see it up there on screen, and even if it doesn't necessarily pass certain kind of expectations that you see in your everyday entertainment, there's a lot to enjoy there. Sometimes it takes you a little bit of time to get there, that you'll watch movies like when I was becoming a young cinephile and say stuff like, oh, it's not like Evil Dead 2, I wish it was like Evil Dead 2, when in reality, it's very rare you're going to see stuff like that because it's hard, takes a lot of imagination, and sometimes the passion there on screen is enough to get you through it. And then you have films like Jeff Leroy's Hell Highway. This was a film that was made for nothing. I think under $10,000, they say, in the special features. It is one that has some technical issues, maybe some acting issues as well. Storytelling, not the strongest in this kind of stuff. But you're watching a low-budget horror film, and there's definitely passion and also just energy in Hell's Highway that you rarely see when you watch things at this low budget a level. Just kind of a creativity and an explosiveness. I remember reading a long time ago someone getting a 50 pack of those horror things that you'd get in the bargain bin at like Walmart, and Hell's Highway was one of those movies. And the person who wrote that review saying, these are the kind of movies you're always looking for in these packs, and it just comes up very rarely. Jeff Leroy is a filmmaker you may not have ever heard of, even though he's been working for quite a long time. They're very silly, they're very gory, but there's just something special there. And thanks to TerraVision finally putting Hell's Highway out on Blu-ray, people can get into it that otherwise you probably wouldn't watch his movies unless they went looking for them, and they wanted to see something like Rat Scratch Fever, which is his wild giant rat movie that kind of went a little bit viral because of how much craziness was in it, or they would just stumble upon it on Tubi, and hopefully they would love the stuff that he put out. So he's a filmmaker that, like, if you look at his filmography, there's a lot of stuff like Werewolf in a Woman's Prison, Dracula in a Woman's Prison, Creepies, which is his giant bug movie. Oh wait, are they giant in the first one? Yes. And then there's Creepies 2, which is a film that he only made because he got investment from a Japanese production company because they enjoyed Creepies 1 so much. This is a filmmaker that's just waiting to be discovered. You do have to go in like with certain expectations, but just the pure fun. Like, he makes party movies where something happens every 5 minutes. It'll be like a practical effect. He loves miniatures, so there's miniatures all over his films. In Hell's Highway, there's, I think, only one big scene where a gas station blows up, but it's miniatures. It's shot on film because he does that because he likes to put it in slow motion, and doing it on film, especially, I think this was made in the early 2000s, is the easiest way to do it. Anyway, Hell's Highway is a film that I can't really say too much about it because you need to experience it for yourself. It's about a bunch of friends that go on a road trip, and then they meet a demon lady, maybe, who starts picking them off one by one. Every character more annoying than the last, but listen, Hell's Highway it goes down smooth, and God, I'm so happy it's out on Blu-ray, and people will be discovering the work of Jeff Leroy now, because I want special editions of all of the movies that he's done. He has been in obscurity far too long, and he deserves to get a cult to really build around him. I wonder, it's weird that it didn't happen in like the DVD era. Maybe it's because his films didn't get a distribution that some things did, and we're able to kind of discover an audience, but, you know, it's been long enough. Let's finally do it. So the Blu-ray itself, again, released by TerraVision. You can order it off of their website. I wish they had maybe done some new art. I believe that this cover is what was on the original DVD release, but they went all out on special features. Jeff Leroy, from what I can tell, is not the most talkative fellow. I don't know if you've ever done tons of special features. I've rarely seen any interviews with him. And I contacted him many years ago asking if he'd be interested in Gold Ninja Video distributing his films on Blu-ray. And he said, I don't own the rights. And that was it. That was like the only words that I exchanged with him. But even though Jeff is not really that present in this, everybody else that you want to hear from is. So you got Phoebe Dollar, who is the main star of the film. You get Beverly Lynn Meadows, who's the other main woman star. You get Joe Castro, who's the special effects guy in the picture, and would also make a very long career of doing practical effects on no-budget films. Probably most famous as the director of Terratoons 1, 2, 3, and I think 4 is upcoming. And you also get, these look like things that were probably on an earlier DVD release. The Curse of Hell's Highway, which is a little special feature that involves the producer, David Sterling. And David Sterling, if you've never heard that name, he's a famous producer of no-budget horror films, being the guy who is responsible for all of the Camp Blood movies, and there's a million of them, and they're all put out now in like these big box sets from Makeflix, which is a company that does like no-budget horror. If you've never got anything from them, I also recommend checking that out. And anyway, so David Sterling has interviewed a bunch of the cast. It looks like it was shot like right when the film either was in production or had just finished, because they're all talking about the injuries that they suffered on the production. Really fun. Glad it was included. You also get, and I read this on the back and I was like, I have no idea what this could be. Jeffrey Leroy Burn Unit. What that is a little special feature that, again, it looks like it was produced for the original DVD, where Jeff Leroy shows you the injuries that he sustained while doing the miniature explosion in the film. Everybody who's interviewed on the disc, and they're all modern day interviews, they talk about it, that when the miniature explosion went off, Jeff, some people say his arms, other people said his hair caught fire, but in the video it looks like it's his legs that he's has bandages on, and that he was caught in like second, maybe third degree burns, and that he didn't go to the hospital because he didn't have insurance, and that he went and like took a bath, and he did, I think, end up going to the hospital. You got to watch the video for more. And the Jeff Leroy Burn Unit, a little featurette, also segues into an interview with the director, where you get a sense of him, like, again, not the most talkative fellow, but you can feel that burning passion there. And I mean, that's why I watch these kind of movies. I love feeling that passion for filmmaking, for the things they're putting up on screen. And there's a kind of unashamedness with Hell's Highway that no matter how much money they have, they're just putting themselves all out there. And finally, the longest interview on the disc is with Jay Woelfel. And he was the composer of this movie. And I bring it up because I love Jay Woelfel's films. If you got the Homegrown Horror box set that Vinegar Syndrome put out, there was probably his most famous feature film called Beyond Dream's Door. And Jay Woelfel is a guy that, like, he was just in that LA scene in the, like, full moon and sub full moon pictures, that like he kind of came in and was working for Full Moon at like the last minute when they had no money, famously making the worst full moon film, Demonicus, which it's not. That's 100% not the worst one that they ever made. And that he composed stuff, he helped, and that he gives a real interesting interview about his process, about the music in the film, which could be easily completely dismissive, just hear the music. But once he talks about his inspiration, that there was like a little bit of Deep Red, that what did it mean to score The Desert, and the way that he did it without actually watching a final cut of the film, it's super fun, super interesting. Jay Woelfel's another guy that, like Jeff Leroy, I really hope that there is a kind of rediscovery of his picture. I mean, Beyond Dream's Door came out, but his other stuff, like Asylum of Darkness, is amazing. It's basically like a sequel to Beyond Dream's Door, this like hallucinatory, anything can happen, but it's actually more clever than that motion picture. Shot on film, even though Asylum of Darkness didn't come out that long ago, well, maybe 10 years. And Asylum of Darkness has like a very generic DVD cover that does not indicate the film at all. And I'm sure it's just a matter of time before a Blu-ray boutique finally picks it up. I should also say, like, Jeff Leroy is also a guy that, like, he writes, he directs, he edits, and he also shoots his own movies and other people's movies. You look at their credits, like Jay Woelfel has done so many things on so many projects, and so has Jeff Leroy, so many things on so many projects. It's easy to watch a movie like Hell's Highway and go, ha ha ha, they didn't know what they were doing. But like, they did, and it's all up there on screen for you to enjoy and for you to discover, which you can finally do thanks to TerrorVision putting out Hell's Highway on Blu-ray. I can't wait to see the other Jeff Leroy films that come out, and I, again, really hope that this starts a passionate cult for his work. And then Jay Woelfel, he'll be the next guy, because he also has a great filmography. If you enjoyed this video, check out the Bay Street Video Podcast, the podcast I do every week with Mark Hansen, where we discuss all of the new Blu-rays and DVDs that come out every week. And we definitely talked about Hell's Highway when it came out, and we both loved it. So if you want to discover more movies like this, because of course I can't do a video for everything that I really enjoy, check out the Bay Street Video Podcast. You can find a link below. Oh, also, subscribe. I'm supposed to say that in these videos. So subscribe to this channel, and thanks for watching.